When razor-sharp wit intersects with an unapologetic spirit of defiance, it leaves a legacy that's impossible to ignore. Mae West, the woman who turned censorship into a stage and rebellion into an art form, wasn't just a star. She was a force of nature who reshaped the boundaries of her era. Emerging from the gritty streets of Brooklyn, she wielded her provocative humor and commanding presence like weapons against the rigid morality of her time. Her journey from vaudeville beginnings to Hollywood stardom was paved with guts, charm, and the audacity to challenge a world determined to silence her. Through a career marked by controversy, Mae didn't just perform. She provoked thought, inspired change, and, above all, demanded attention. With every one-liner, sultry gaze, and swish of her curves, she defied the rules and made history. Born Mary Jane West in Brooklyn, New York, on August 17, 1893, Mae West came into the world as part of a lively working-class family. Her father, known as Battlin' Jack, was a prizefighter whose toughness and resilience left a lasting impression on Mae. These traits would later be reflected in her bold and daring persona that captivated audiences. Her mother, Matilda Delker, worked as a corset model, combining poise and style with a sense of practicality. This blend of elegance and down-to-earth sensibility was something Mae inherited, shaping her unique character. Growing up in a vibrant Brooklyn neighborhood, Mae was surrounded by a melting pot of cultures and creativity. This environment nurtured her flair for theatrics and humor, allowing her to develop her natural talent for captivating attention. Even as a child, she had an innate ability to draw people in, a skill that would soon become her life's calling. Her early experiences in this dynamic setting laid the foundation for her future as a groundbreaking actress and entertainer. Mae's journey to stardom began amazingly early, showcasing her natural talent and magnetic presence that would eventually define her legendary career. At just 5 years old, Mae participated in an amateur contest, displaying boldness and charisma well beyond her years. Her performance of Maybe Your Man Loves You was captivating, leaving an unforgettable impression on the audience and earning her first prize. This moment foreshadowed the star she was destined to become. By the age of 7, Mae was regularly performing in the vibrant vaudeville circuit, adopting the stage name Baby Mae. It was in these formative years that the roots of her signature style began to take shape. Her mother, Matilda, played an integral role in nurturing and shaping her early career. Recognizing Mae's potential, Matilda devoted her efforts to designing elaborate pink costumes, a deliberate attempt to set her apart amidst the bustling, competitive vaudeville scene. These costumes added an air of sophistication and individuality to Mae's performances, establishing a visual identity that complemented her sprightly on-stage actions. Despite her tender age, Mae possessed an innate ability to charm and entertain, incorporating humor, wit, and a fearless demeanor into her acts, traits that would later become hallmarks of her iconic persona. The stage became Mae's playground as she honed her skills, learning the nuances of captivating audiences and commanding attention. She developed her talents during a time when entertainment was a competitive and unforgiving industry, yet she stood out not only for her childlike innocence, but for her precocious grasp of performance art. These beginnings, filled with the support of a determined mother and a natural penchant for showmanship, laid a strong foundation for Mae's meteoric rise in the world of entertainment. At the astonishingly young age of 8, Mae West made her Broadway debut in the play, Sometime. Although the production only ran for a week, the experience was invaluable for young Mae. It marked the beginning of her deep connection with the stage, an environment where she felt completely at home. This early exposure to live performance allowed her to grasp the essential elements of acting, such as timing, delivery, and the importance of engaging with an audience. The thrill of being in front of people and the energy of the theater captivated her, solidifying her desire to pursue a career in entertainment. This initial taste of the limelight ignited a passion that would drive her for decades. Mae West's early experiences on Broadway laid the groundwork for her future successes, shaping her into the iconic figure she would become in the world of film and theater. The lessons learned during those formative years would resonate throughout her career, influencing her unique style and approach to performance. By 1907, at just 14 years old, Mae had joined the Hal Clarendon Stock Company, a pivotal moment in her development as an entertainer. Her time with the company allowed her to refine her comedic skills, experiment with bold personas, and establish a reputation for her quick wit and audacious charm. Touring extensively with major vaudeville circuits, such as the Ziegfeld Follies, Mae captivated audiences with her innovative performances. Her acts, often laced with humor and daring innuendos were a breath of fresh air in the otherwise formulaic vaudeville world. Each performance not only enhanced her reputation, but also helped her build the foundation of her unique style. By 1911, Mae West had already started to carve out her unique space in the entertainment world, unveiling her bold and audacious baby vamp persona. This character was sultry and confident, a combination that captivated audiences and hinted at the iconic, larger-than-life figure she would later become. Her emergence in vaudeville and burlesque heralded the arrival of someone unafraid to challenge conventions. Always an innovator and provocateur, Mae introduced the shimmy dance to her performances. This provocative dance, marked by an emphasis on shaking the shoulders and hips, was something she adapted from influences in Chicago's African-American dance clubs. Though the shimmy shocked many conservative viewers, it also enchanted her growing fan base, making her unforgettable on stage. Unapologetically defiant of societal norms, Mae made controversy her ally, using it to spotlight both her unconventional persona and her creative work. Her wit and sharp humor further solidified her public image, often delivering clever, memorable one-liners that revealed her rebellious and self-assured worldview. Lines like, "I'm no model lady, a model's just an imitation of the real thing," captured her essence perfectly. Mae wasn't just portraying confidence on stage, but lived it, crafting a persona that resonated with countless women and men in a rapidly evolving social landscape. By these early years in her career, it was clear Mae West didn't just fit into the world of entertainment. She redefined it to suit her terms. Mae West's Broadway debut in 1911 was the beginning of her remarkable rise in the world of entertainment. Taking the stage in the revue, a la Broadway, her appearance was brief yet inspiring. Though the production did not enjoy significant success, West's presence left an indelible mark on audiences and critics alike. The New York Times took note of her infectious charm and lively performance, heralding her potential as an artist destined for fame. As an era of unparalleled ambition unfolded, Mae's career advanced steadily. By 1918, she had begun not only acting but also creating her material. This marked the start of her journey as a writer and playwright dedicated to tackling themes that many in her era feared to touch. Mae was never one to embrace convention. Her writing reflected her values of freedom and empowerment. It served as a platform to contest the restrictive norms surrounding gender roles, and became bolder as her creative spirit flourished. The year 1926 became a defining moment in her career with the production of her play Sex. Written and performed by Mae herself, the play was provocative, openly exploring female sexual autonomy and independence. These themes, daringly radical at the time, were received with both intrigue and scandal. The play quickly drew criticism from moral crusaders, leading to her arrest on obscenity charges. Instead of shrinking under the weight of public censure, Mae used this episode to her advantage, showcasing an unmatched wit and resilience. She turned her brief jail stint into a spectacle, using it as fuel to attract greater media coverage. The controversy did not diminish her, but instead catapulted her stardom to unprecedented heights. Mae West's bold choice to center her works around the female experience, and her keen ability to convert scandals into opportunities illuminated her as not just an entertainer, but a strategist and cultural icon. Her refusal to compromise her values and her uncanny understanding of public attention underscored her ingenuity. Through performances imbued with humor, intellect, and an arresting presence, she stood firm in crafting a public image rooted in confidence and control. Her early years in Broadway and writing thus laid the foundation for the revolutionary figure Mae West would become, one whose impact extended far beyond the stage or script. Mae West, a dynamic force of nature in the world of theater and film, consistently broke boundaries and conventions. With her inimitable blend of wit and audacity, she challenged societal norms and opened doors for discussions that had previously been silenced. Her 1927 play, The Drag, tackled homosexuality, a subject regarded as taboo and scandalous during her time. The play presented a direct, unfiltered look into a world that was seldom acknowledged in such a public forum. Despite its bold narrative, however, The Drag faced severe backlash and was banned in New York. Yet, this censorship only seemed to fuel her resolve. Mae West was not one to shy away from controversy. Through her courage and artistic voice, she made an indelible impression, bringing marginalized stories to the forefront and redefining the limits of theatrical expression. Her momentum continued with the creation of the iconic figure, Diamond Lil. Premiering in 1928, this play introduced audiences to a striking an unforgettable character who would become synonymous with Mae West herself. Diamond Lil was brash and unapologetically confident, a sexually liberated woman who stood in stark contrast to traditional depictions of women in theater. The character's unabashed charisma and authenticity struck a chord with audiences, and the show became an instant success. Diamond Lil was not just the protagonist of a hit play. She was an extension of Mae West's personality and values. Mae's ability to imbue the character with such life and relatability lay in her profound understanding of the human spirit and her fearless embrace of themes that resonated with reality. Audiences were drawn not just to the comedy and drama on stage, but to the promise of a new kind of heroine, one who was in control of her destiny and unafraid to own her story. Mae's portrayal of Diamond Lil solidified her reputation as a trailblazer, simultaneously provocative and empowering. The character mirrored Mae's wit and wisdom while remaining timeless, bridging gaps between the conventional and the radical. The play was more than entertainment. It was a statement of individuality and authenticity. The popularity of Diamond Lil propelled Mae West to greater heights, showcasing her prowess not only as an actress, but also as a skilled writer who could craft stories that were as socially poignant as they were commercially successful. These pioneering works exemplify Mae West's commitment to pushing envelopes and addressing the larger social currents of her era. In naming taboos and making them central to her art, she opened conversations about issues of identity, agency, and gender. Her resilience in the face of censorship and societal disapproval highlights not just her tenacity, but her conviction that art should never shy away from the truth. Through her characters and stories, Mae West gave a voice to those who seldom found representation, paving the way for broader conversations and changes within the entertainment industry and beyond. Through her groundbreaking foray into Hollywood in 1932, Mae West redefined what it meant to be a leading actress of the silver screen. At the age of 39, an unlikely threshold for female newcomers in the industry, she carried with her the magnetic charisma and bold self-assurance cultivated on the Broadway stage. Her debut film, She Done Him Wrong, released in 1933, was an adapted screenplay of her controversial and immensely popular play Diamond Lil. Mae's choice to bring this story to life in cinema was a conscious and daring move, as the original play's scandalous nature necessitated sensorial adjustments to fit the screen. Despite these constraints, the essence of the performance endured, placing her in the pantheon of Hollywood stars almost overnight. Opposite the rising actor Cary Grant, Mae West delivered a performance that masterfully blended humor, sensuality, and a razor-sharp wit, breathing life into the iconic character Lady Lou. Set in the gay 90s, Manhattan, the plot unfolds around Lady Lou, a saloon singer entangled in a web of romantic liaisons and moral ambiguity. The interplay between Lady Lou's audacious confidence and an ensemble of charming and criminal men became an instant hit with Depression-era audiences. Her dialogue, especially quips like, "When I'm good, I'm very good, but when I'm bad, I'm better," bore her signature ability to marry humor with empowerment, making her a figure of both allure and reverence. As the first Paramount Pictures release to gross millions amidst the Great Depression, She Done Him Wrong holds the distinction of safeguarding the studio from looming bankruptcy. The critical and financial triumph of the film carved a lasting impression, not only on cinematic history but also on the wider cultural landscape. Mae West's unflinching boldness challenged societal norms and took aim at conventional depictions of women in film. In the face of coded Hollywood restrictions and a conservative studio system, she remained steadfast, cultivating an image of a confident and unapologetic woman. Her performance in this movie became a blueprint for characters that simultaneously entertained and proclaimed independence, truly cementing her as a pioneer in film. The introduction of the Hays Code in 1934 posed a significant challenge to Mae West's provocative style. The censorship rules aimed to curtail the explicit content that had become her hallmark. However, Mae responded with ingenuity, crafting double entendres and using subtle gestures to convey her message without breaking the rules. Her ability to navigate these restrictions not only preserved her unique style, but also showcased her adaptability and creativity. Despite the limitations, Mae's films continued to thrive, making her one of the highest-paid stars of her time. She cleverly used her wit to outsmart the censors, often embedding suggestive lines that could be interpreted in multiple ways. This cleverness allowed her to maintain her persona as a bold and liberated woman, even in a more restrictive environment. Her films, filled with humor and charm, resonated with audiences, proving that her talent could shine through any constraints. Mae West's legacy as a master of subversion and wit remains influential, demonstrating the power of creativity in the face of censorship. Mae West's appearance on radio in 1937 marked yet another bold venture in her career, as she continuously sought to dominate every entertainment medium she entered. Invited onto Edgar Bergen's popular variety program, The Chase and Sanborn Hour, West was featured in 2 sketches that aired on December 12, 1937. The first of these segments reimagined the biblical story of Adam and Eve with a provocative twist. Paired with actor Don Amici, West's portrayal of Eve was suggestive and deliberately risque, delivering lines laden with her signature double entendres. Her sultry performance in this highly comedic, yet daring skit included moments of flirtation with the serpent, aimed at convincing Adam to escape the confines of Eden for a more thrilling existence. Written by Archer Bowler, the dialogue pushed the boundaries of what was considered acceptable on public radio. Following the biblical narrative, Mae West's interaction with Bergen's ventriloquist dummy, Charlie McCarthy, added fuel to the fire. In their exchange, West leaned into her persona, exchanging suggestive quips with the wooden puppet, creating a performance that was equal parts playful and scandalous. While audiences of her films and stage performances might have found such banter typical and entertaining, radio was an entirely different platform, hitting a wider and more varied audience in the supposed sanctity of their homes. The overt innuendos laced into the broadcast, which aired on a Sunday evening, elicited a strong backlash from listeners, church groups, and even network executives. The backlash was swift and severe. NBC, the network airing the show, received an unprecedented volume of complaints from angered listeners citing indecency and moral corruption. The Federal Communications Commission reportedly opened an investigation into the program, compounding the widespread controversy it had already sparked. Religious organizations called for boycotts, emphasizing outrage over how the sacred biblical story had been subverted. NBC executives, in an attempt to mitigate the fallout, issued a public apology, blaming Mae West and claiming they had been unaware of the explicit nature of the material beforehand. The scandal cemented Mae West's status as a provocateur, but came at a cost. She was unofficially banned from mainstream radio for over a decade, with networks fearing the potential controversies her appearances could generate. It wasn't until 1950 that West made a return to radio, demonstrating how much the incident had reverberated through her career. However, in many ways, the scandal enhanced Mae West's legend as an artist who unapologetically embraced her image as a strong, independent, and sexually confident woman. By facing the fallout with wit and resilience, Mae West once again proved her ability to remain relevant even amid widespread criticism. The impact extended beyond her career, as the incident led to tighter content restrictions for radio broadcasts, making The Chase and Sanborn Hour a cautionary example of the need for self-censorship within the medium. While West herself expressed dissatisfaction with the script and some of the creative choices, she stood by the performance, recognizing it as part of her broader identity as an entertainer who thrived on challenging societal norms. Ultimately, the scandal underscored Mae West's power to spark conversation and controversy regardless of the medium she conquered. Mae West's resilience in the film industry is exemplified by her determination to thrive amidst the constraints of censorship and controversy. In the 1930s, Hollywood was heavily regulated by the Hays Code, a strict set of moral guidelines that shaped the content of films. Despite these limitations, Mae West managed to infuse her unique personality, sharp wit, and flamboyant charm into her films, ensuring her performances remained captivating and her popularity among audiences undiminished. Her ability to adapt and innovate was highlighted in works such as Klondike Annie and Go West Young Man, both of which faced considerable scrutiny from censors. In Klondike Annie, West portrays Rose Carlton, also known as the Frisco Doll, a woman who escapes her life of oppression by committing murder in self-defense and embarking on a journey to Alaska. The film cleverly wove themes of religion and redemption with West's signature comedic flair. While censorship forced significant alterations, Mae West's talent for double entendres and suggestive humor ensured that the film retained her unmistakable essence. Her performance and the underlying narrative subtly critiqued societal hypocrisy, making it a masterful combination of entertainment and social commentary. Go West Young Man, adapted from Lawrence Riley's Broadway play Personal Appearance, showcases another facet of West's adaptability. Taking the story of a Hollywood starlet stranded in a small town, She skillfully infused her dialogue with humor and her undeniable charisma, even as the censors worked to dilute the provocativeness that made her appeal so distinctive. Her ability to find ways around censorship, while maintaining her unmistakable identity, highlights her ingenuity as both an actress and a writer. Mae West's films routinely attracted audiences, not only because of her commanding presence, but also due to her ability to challenge and bend the boundaries set before her. Censors often targeted her scripts, leading to cuts and revisions. Yet she thrived by leaning into her persona, delivering performances that exuded confidence and playfulness. During a time when female voices and independence were heavily scrutinized, her unflinching determination to express herself set her apart as a trailblazer. Through her work, she consistently gave audiences a taste of her daring and sharp intellect, all while navigating the tumultuous waters of an industry determined to tame her. The censorship did not deter the public from embracing West's films. In fact, the controversies surrounding her work often heightened interest, ensuring commercial success even as critics clashed over her artistic merits. By channeling her unique charm into projects constrained by moral guidelines, Mae West demonstrated a rare form of resilience. Rather than conforming entirely to restrictive norms, she worked within and beyond them to create a legacy that continues to inspire and captivate. Though Mae West had already reached iconic status from her provocative roles in early Hollywood, her Las Vegas performances in the 1940s and 1950s revealed yet another facet of her star power. When her film career waned with a shift in public tastes, Mae saw Las Vegas as an opportunity to reinvent herself. Performing at the Sahara Hotel, her shows were a bold fusion of wit, charm, and spectacle. Central to this reinvention was the introduction of bodybuilders into her acts. These muscle-bound men became fixtures of her performances, where Mae's characteristic humor, full of innuendos, roared back to life on stage. Audiences adored her, women marveled at her confidence, and men couldn't take their eyes off her carefully orchestrated spectacles. Mae's shows attracted wide attention, and her payday reflected her appeal. Pocketing an unprecedented $115,000 weekly, she became one of Las Vegas's top-grossing entertainers. She not only brought glamour to the city, but also breathed new life into her career. Mae's success extended beyond the stage, influencing fashion trends with her sultry yet bold wardrobe choices, from figure-hugging gowns to platform shoes that imbued her with a towering presence. Her image, unapologetically larger than life, inspired generations, including rising stars like Marilyn Monroe, who emulated Mae's dazzling stage presence and sharp sense of humor. The shows also demonstrated Mae's acute business acumen and adaptability. During a time of rapid transformations in the entertainment industry, she managed to reinvent herself without straying from the personal brand that made her famous. Her stagecraft, blending parody, seduction, and empowerment, while using bodybuilders as both props and draws, underscored her understanding of theatricality. Photos from this era capture her glowing confidence, surrounded by men whose physiques she humorously and affectionately mocked, making her the centerpiece of an unforgettable Las Vegas spectacle. Mae's influence spilled over into Hollywood, as her charisma and teachings helped shape a new wave of performers. She saw in Monroe and other starlets the potential for the kind of gender-challenging, magnetic allure she had brought to the forefront. Her stage show became a cultural hallmark, emphasizing both her enduring appeal and her knack for observing audiences' changing tastes to remain relevant. During the 1960s, Mae West, already an iconic figure in entertainment, ventured into the rock and roll scene with an audacious move that surprised fans and critics alike. Her album, Way Out West, released in June 1966, showcased her unique take on popular songs of the time. Backed by the teen rock band Somebody's Children for instrumental support, she infused her versions of tracks by artists like Bob Dylan and the Beatles with her unmistakable flair and charisma. The album, produced by Tower Records, turned out to be a modest commercial success, charting at number 116 on the Billboard charts. This project, together with a later festive-themed album titled Wild Christmas, rebranded the sultry, husky-voiced star for a new younger audience. Mae's charisma and defiant attitude shone through these recordings, proving her timeless appeal. Critics couldn't help but discuss her choice to cover contemporary songs in her distinctive voice, with interpretations that often combined humor and her signature seductive tone. The decision to embark on this musical journey demonstrated her adaptability, a quality that had marked her entire career. Always ahead of her time, Mae used the cultural revolution of the 1960s to stay relevant, while preserving the allure that had made her a star. These albums served not just as tributes to popular music, but as extensions of her larger-than-life persona. Adding to her achievements of this period, Mae West released her autobiography, Goodness Had Nothing to Do with It, offering an intimate look into her extraordinary life. First published in 1959, the book became a bestseller and was later updated in the 1970s to include reflections from her years in the rock and roll era. Her autobiographical work provided readers a captivating narrative of her life, from her days in vaudeville to Hollywood stardom. Apart from captivating fans with tales of her wit, boldness, and legendary career, the book revealed her philosophies on fame, love, and resilience. True to her spirit, she kept her struggles out of the narrative, focusing instead on her unbroken streak of confidence and success. Though Mae West had established herself as one of the biggest movie stars of the 1930s and 40s, her foray into rock and roll showed her willingness to evolve with changing times. She continued to make headlines and maintain her legendary status well into her 70s, proving not just her versatility, but her indomitable presence in the cultural zeitgeist. Mae West's remarkable return to the silver screen in 1970 through the film Myra Breckinridge was a testament to her undying passion for performance. After a prolonged absence of over 25 years, her role as Letitia Van Allen in this satirical comedy drama drew widespread fascination, mainly because it was unexpected for an actress of her era to make such a bold reappearance in a changing cinematic landscape. Despite the fact that Myra Breckinridge received mixed reviews, her charm and undeniable screen presence reinvigorated discussions about her unique contribution to Hollywood's golden age. Even at 76, Mae captured attention with her timeless wit, audacious personality, and an unerring sense of self that had always defined her career. Her capacity for adaptation continued well into the 1970s and 1980s. True to her nature, Mae refused to be overshadowed by younger stars or changing trends. In an industry that often discarded older actresses, she retained her status as a cultural phenomenon, showing unflinching confidence in interviews and public appearances. Her unique humor, often laden with double entendres, remained a hallmark of her communication, ensuring audiences were never far from the glamour and sauciness that had initially made her famous. Mae's unwavering ability to reinvent herself exemplified her resilience. Whether through her music, such as the release of albums that capitalized on her distinctive voice, or through her kept-up image of glamour, she stood as a figure who lived life on her terms. By steadfastly staying true to the Mae West persona, she not only maintained a fan base but also introduced herself to a new generation of admirers who viewed her as a pioneer of self-expression and individuality in Hollywood. Through her later endeavors, Mae proved that age could not dim her luster. Her final years showcased a woman who defied categorization, embodying the idea of living boldly no matter the circumstances. Her performances, lifestyle, and unapologetic humor remained a beacon for those who admired not just her talent, but her indomitable spirit and refusal to relinquish the spotlight. With every reinvention and stage appearance, Mae West's legacy only grew stronger, ensuring her unmatched charisma and audacity resonate as strongly today as they did during her prime. Through the lens of time, Mae West emerges not simply as a figure of entertainment, but as a pioneering spirit who forged her own singular path in defiance of convention. Rising from her Brooklyn childhood, she developed a distinctive persona that thrived on confidence, charm, and sharp intellect. Her wit and unabashed sensuality became her signature, challenging a society deeply entrenched in restrictive moral codes. In a career that spanned vaudeville to Broadway, then to Hollywood's golden screens, Mae West became a true icon by breaking taboos, particularly around female sexuality and independence in an era when such themes were fiercely policed. She took risks with her work, writing plays and scripts filled with double entendres and social commentary, which didn't just entertain but provoked thought and spurred dialogue. Her battles with censors, including arrests and bans, only amplified her mystique and reinforced her commitment to living and working authentically. When Mae transitioned to film, she not only brought new energy to the screen but also altered its dynamics. She demanded creative control, unheard of for women of her time, and used her platform to challenge power structures both within Hollywood and beyond. Her iconic one-liners and indelible performances elevated her beyond a star to a cultural phenomenon. Her bold choices resonated, not just as entertainment but as social statements, even earning her the position of one of Hollywood's highest-paid stars during her peak. Mae often said, I believe in censorship. After all, I made a fortune out of it. And indeed, her battles with authority only chipped away at societal barriers, advancing the cause of free expression and broader conversation about empowerment. As Mae West matured, her appeal and philosophies did not wane. She became revered as a beacon of self-assurance, staying magnetic well into her later years. Her collaborations, like those with costumers and directors, reflected her careful crafting of an image that empowered not only herself, but countless women who saw her brash independence as a model for their own resistance against marginalization. Even in her final performances, Mae exuded the very essence of showmanship and charisma, embracing her persona and aging with unapologetic grace. Women's rights movements and modern popular culture continued to draw inspiration from her groundbreaking work, echoing her wit and wisdom as touchstones for rebellion and individuality.